Special thanks to these companies for being long-term partners of this channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach. Here we talk about overlanding gear, builds, DIY, all sorts of stuff related to getting your vehicle ready for adventuring in the outdoors and, maybe doing some off-roading. So one of the biggest things with DIY is you actually need the tools necessary to do that project. Obviously with DIY, you can't just buy the materials and get it done. You need the tools. Oftentimes when modifying your vehicle, you're gonna need tools of some kind. And specifically buying tools for doing automotive maintenance and other modifications like that can be pretty expensive. And that's why I really love Harbor Freight equipment, because here's the deal. A lot of you probably have heard all the stigmas around Harbor Freight, like don't use a Harbor Freight jack. Thankfully you weren't under the truck when that jack was used. Or you hear, wow, that stuff's so cheap and it comes straight from China or something. It's probably not high quality. You hear kind of things like this, but then most people don't realize that a lot of equipment from higher manufacturers or higher quality manufacturers is made by the exact same overseas manufacturers. And so I think that there's a lot of confusion and a lot of potential misleading due to branding. And that's one reason that I really just enjoy using Harbor Freight stuff. I think they've got a quality product at a great price. And yeah, it's not, tools and equipment designed for someone who's working 12 hours a day doing this maintenance, but it's designed for everyday people like you and me doing garage maintenance that, you need the jacks when you're doing this stuff, but you're not going to be putting them under load for 10 hours a day. And so I think this equipment is an incredible bang for your buck. Most of this stuff has some form of a warranty, and if it doesn't, it's so cheap that you could probably buy 3 or 4 of them before you buy the higher tier, higher quality product. So I want to talk about this Harbor Freight jack and jack stands that they sent me. I reached out to them and asked them if they'd be willing to partner on this video because there's so many routine maintenance things that it's really nice to have some high quality jacks. And having these 6-ton jack stands especially is really nice because having a lifted vehicle, you can't use the typical run-of-the-mill jack stands. And so having a set of these 3-ton jack stands for doing smaller stuff where you're lifting rock sliders or other things like that is really handy. And then when you actually need to lift the entire vehicle, having these 6-ton jack stands is really awesome. So that's why I'm kind of encouraging you to check these out and stick around for the video, because having this stuff to do oil changes, rotate your tires, if you're feeling adventurous enough, putting on different suspension, as well as just other things that you might need to do to your vehicle, maybe putting on skids, whatever it is, having jacks and jack stands may save you a ton of money. And there's a fair number of people who take their truck into off-road shops to do certain modifications or maintenance that honestly you could do at home for way cheaper, and buying these tools and doing it yourself might be so much cheaper than taking it to a shop. So let's jump right into the video. I want to talk a little bit more about these products, and then I'll show you kind of actually using them. I decided to do a hammered pinch weld modification in this video just to kind of demonstrate using these jacks. So let's jump right into it.
All right, so we've got a couple of exciting things to unbox here, but this is the 3-ton Daytona jack from Harbor Freight. Basically it's a really heavy duty jack, but it's got this awesome longer reach extended arm, so I'm hoping this is going to work really well for lifted vehicles. A lot of people just use a typical jack and then they do something along the lines of put some blocks on the top or whatever to lift your vehicle. I think this will be safer, and this jack was only 230 bucks, so shout out to them though for sending this out to me to do this video for you guys and kind of show you. I wanted to show that this is an affordable jack, but you can lift like almost anything with it vehicle wise, and should be a really sweet option. So it's pretty heavy, and we're gonna have to cut some tape here. A little pro tip too, I bought this box cutter from Harbor Freight for $1, and then if you're worried about the quality there, you could always just throw a different blade in it from a different company, but I just have used this for over a year now, and I just throw new blades in it. The handle works great. So take off the top of the box here. Looks like we've got the handle. Top of the jack comes off here. Let's see if we can lift this out. This jack is actually quite heavy. I don't know if it's 100 pounds or what, but it's a sturdy filler. Oh, God. Wow, that's awesome. I was expecting there to be some assembly involved, but definitely not. So just remove this little plastic piece. There we go. Okay. Now there's a bolt here. Presume we take this. Whoa. Push this handle all the way down. Put that bolt back in all the way, and that should hold the handle in place. It catches on the lip of this handle. So like I said, basically 3-ton low profile jack. This arm is see here, typically you have to twist your handle all the way to the right to engage the tightening feature so you can pump it up. But this has got like a fast pump technology or something in it, so I think it'll raise quite quickly. It's got this little padded top here, which is super nice. It spins freely. You know, holds 3 tons, 6,000 pounds. The gross vehicle weight of the 4Runner is like 6,300, so I think in theory this thing could pick up the entire vehicle almost if it needed to. Hopefully I'm under the gross weight. That would be important for safety reasons. But I wanted this to also be kind of future-proof in case I get a full-size truck in the future or something like that. So super sweet. I just like the black color. I think they sell it in 3 or 4 different colors, so if you like, you know, red or yellow or blue, I think they have all those colors. This right here too is a foot pump, so if you don't want to use the handle, you can pump on this little foot lever. So that's pretty awesome. And then to let it down, you know, just turn all the way to the left like on most floor jacks. Super sweet jack. Alright, so and then in addition to the jack, we've got 2 jack stands here as well. They each have a 3-ton capacity, but we got these because if you're wanting to do all 4 tires rotated at the same time, you're going to want to put 2 jack stands up front or in the rear, and then you're going to probably jack on the differential in the front or the rear. So 3 points of lift should be good to get all 4 tires in the air. So there's our 2 jack stands. We've got our jack, and one thing I did just want to show too is this little thing hanging on the chain. This is like a safety pin for this lift bar. So once you go to the first setting on the jack, you can slide this little safety pin through this little opening on the side of the jack right here. And you push that through, and then you can feed this little safety pin through here as well. So the safety pin just helps it from going side to side, but all the weight is on the top of this. So this pin is just a secondary safety feature to this handle for the latch. So then you just pull this little chain out. You can pull this out, let it dangle, and then lift this up however high you want. And then when you want to drop it, you just lift up on the handle, drops down, just like that. So those are our jack stands. Let's now jump out to the vehicle and start taking some wheels off and jacking up the truck. So, and I also want to give a shout out to Harbor Freight. They sent me out these 6-ton jack stands, which are absolutely awesome. I've got 4 of them, so 2 for the front and 2 for the rear. And you know, this is an awesome way if you want to rotate your tires in the driveway or whatever you need. These 6-ton jack stands go up to like 24 inches tall, so they're really awesome. They easily provide enough lift, even though my truck has like a 4-inch lift and 33s. You know, they can go plenty high. And I think this is only like maybe 2/3 of the way up this shaft with all the teeth on it. So if I needed to go higher, I totally could. So pretty stoked to use these. Harbor Freight's always helping me out with some random tools when I need them. So I really appreciate their support. Similarly, working on the Land Cruiser and also working on the 4Runner today. This jack is in here because it kind of got wet, but this is their 3-ton low profile long reach arm. It's really awesome because a lot of people will throw like a 4-inch by 4-inch block on the top of here just to get a little bit more height out of their jack, because a lot of jacks don't go high enough to actually lift it up. So with this one though, you just saw on the 4Runner, I can jack this high enough to get the 33 completely off the ground, maybe even an inch or 2 under the wheel, and there's still some extra distance in this, you know, before it's completely vertical. So this arm is really long and it's awesome. It's a great way to be able to work on probably most lifted rigs with a jack. And honestly, if your truck is any more lifted, just throw one of those 4x4 blocks on it and you should be able to lift just about anything. So I've been really happy with this jack, and also it goes really flat. So if you need it to be low profile to get in somewhere, as you can see, gets super low to the ground. So super awesome jack, and honestly comes in at a great price point for being a 3-ton floor jack. And it's got this sweet little pedal. So if you want this to go up quickly, I'll pull this pencil out of here. We're just letting it dry a bit, but when you step on it, I'll tighten the handle here real quick. You just step on it, you can pump it up really fast without having to swing this handle all the way back and forth and back and forth. So super awesome jack. This jack mixed with the 6-ton jack stands, and then a couple 3-ton jack stands that I all have from this Daytona line of Harbor Freight. They are awesome. They definitely get the job done. Perfect for a garage mechanic, and really thankful that they've been willing to send those to me because I've used them so much. Okay, so I got my wheel off here, and it actually just got done raining. I thankfully was able to kind of sneak in here, get some of the stuff done, you know, in between some of the weather that's going on this Saturday. But you know, this is the big brake kit that I recently did. These are some spacers. So, and obviously I recently did the Dobinson lift. But now what we're doing is we're just kind of prepping this space a bit for running some larger tires. So I don't have a great before, but you can see the before pretty easily from, you know, your vehicle. Once you take off the mud flap, it exposes some different clips. So we've got like a clip here. We'll have like a clip here. You have another clip up here. There's one right here on the plastic. There's another back here. And it holds in the fender liner. And so what I did is I just cut this plastic fender liner off right here because it gets in the way when you're trying to do the hammering pinch weld. So I cut that back, and then all I did was cut some slits in this pinch weld. You just want to make sure you don't go too deep to where you put like a hole in this metal that's welded right here. But once you cut those slits, it makes it easier to hammer this back. So I just hammered this all into this area because this is farther back than this side, so it's easier to just push it all the way back in there. So I got that pushed back as far as I could. Some people relocate this little bracket right here, which holds the inside of the metal fender liner, and also just some paneling here and some of the quarter panel. Like I think this whole panel right here is held in by this screw and just helps to line it up. So I haven't relocated it yet, but that's right there. So what I did is this kind of curves back here a little bit, so I cut off a good inch and then just hit this with the grinder to make sure that it would stay nice and smooth and clean. And I think that'll help with just clearing, you know, the tire better. Maybe I'll have to clean that off with 35s, but with 34s it'll be okay. The shop that did my body mount, they didn't put very good paint on here, so this has started to get a little rusty. So I just cleaned this off because I'm gonna put some of the rubberizer that I used to seal off this seam also on the body mount chop. So that's kind of the plan. The other side is basically identical. Just wanted to show my approach for hammering back these pinch welds so that we could clear some larger tires than 33s. All right, so I got this all bent over and I got it coated. It's a little bit muddy, but I just wanted to show it after a couple of days of driving and show how it actually works in the wild. So it was all bent over, and then I coated everything that was either angle ground or sanded or whatever with this liquid rubber. Had a hard time finding what people were using in all the pinch weld videos, so I tried this stuff out. I think it's gonna work really well, but I don't know if it's like, you know, if there's like a typical dedicated product that people use. But so far this stuff seems to be pretty awesome. It comes black, so I didn't paint that, and it's like this really durable rubber stuff. So I'm pretty stoked for it. I think it turned out really good, and honestly, if it doesn't hold up over time, I'll just clean it and put some more on or something. But I'm pretty stoked with how it turned out. So that's hammered pinch welds. These are still just my 33s, but trying to clear as much space out for the future as we can. and no better time than the present to get this done.
So I hope you thought this was helpful. I wanted to demonstrate that I use this equipment. I think it's great. Obviously, when you're using jacks, use safe practices. Any jack can fail, so just because it's a high quality, expensive jack doesn't mean it couldn't fail the exact same way as one of these more budget options like Harbor Freight offers. So I always try to use two methods of jack. So, you know, put a floor jack and a jack stand in the area where you're working just to be safe. Maybe even using a third option where you throw the tire under your vehicle so that maybe when it would come down, it would land on the tire and the rock slider would hit your tire. It's another way to just be safe. So I just want to kind of explain, you know, some of the ways that I try to mitigate that risk. Obviously, it's going to be different for everyone. So make sure you're safe in the situation that you're using and the equipment you're using. But that's how I do it to try and just stay safe. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. I really think Harbor Freight stuff gets slept on, and it's honestly great quality for the price. And that's why I like working with them, because I'm not trying to spend tons of money on Snap-on tools when I'm only using these jacks once, maybe twice a month. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support, and drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of content, because it helps me out, helps me be able to make more content like this, and helps the channel grow. So thank you so much. I'll catch you all in the next video.
All right, so we're just doing a little bit of maintenance here. Had to check some stuff on my rotors. So Briggs and Coffee starts in half an hour. Figured I'd quick just do a little work in the parking lot. Using a bunch of the new Harbor Freight stuff. They just came out with 6-ton jacks, which is pretty sick. 6-ton jacks are basically a must if you have a lifted truck. And then they also sent me this 3-ton jack, which is honestly awesome. Like, this thing has a super long arm and it lifts the truck on both sides high enough to get my tires off. So that's the big thing. Super stoked on it though, and if you needed to put like a wood block on top, you could probably lift something with 37s. Like, super capable jack. So yeah, let's get after it.